let's get into remakes and remasters. Remakes and remasters have been crazy for the last couple of years. I would argue the PS4 era and the Xbox One and Nintendo Wii U, Nintendo whatever the hell they were doing at the time, remasters were nuts. Remakes were nuts. I don't remember that many remakes in the 360 era that much. Maybe the PS3 side, I would argue. But Xbox 360, I can't think of too many remakes at the time. But I remember the PS4 definitely showed a lot more, mainly from the Square Enix library, mainly from the Nintendo. Nintendo is a big culprit in the remake category right now. In Sony a little bit. And Xbox, well, I mean, Xbox doesn't really have too many titles right now to do remakes. But regardless, though, we are getting a lot of remakes and remasters because we're at a time where the golden age of video games are becoming more expensive, more rare, all this stuff, that there has to be another way to bring these games back up front for people to be recognized again and repurchase again and bring them out to light. So now we're getting a bunch of remasters and remakes. And, later in the conversation, I will argue that, some of the remakes are not the best and some of the remasters do not get what they really deserve, in my opinion.
Grand Theft Auto Trilogy.
Yeah, and stuff like that. But I guess my question for you guys first, and I think I know Mr. Knob's answer to the first question, hands down, but for you and I, Gerard, as more of game collectors and more of the retro, my question for us is, do we purchase a lot of remasters and remakes in general? And I'll go ahead and answer that. I have to probably say yes, I do. I do purchase quite a bit of them. Not so much of the newer ones, more of the older ones bringing back up front, I guess I would say. So, for instance, I'm not on the bus of probably buying Last of Us Part 1 so far. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But, Live a Live. The only difference with Live a Live is that game never got released in America. So, it's really the first time ever released. So, that could be a different point of view of it. But just for you, Jerron, and don't worry, Nob, your answer's going to be quick. Do you purchase a lot of remakes and remasters?
I would say percentage of remakes, remasters, and original titles. I would say about 20%, 20%, 60%.
Okay.
And the reasoning for that is if it's a remake, it is probably a game I don't have the original of, or I find it hard to get the original of. Case in point, Xenoblade Chronicles Remastered, remake, remastered. And that's the thing. What's the remake versus remaster? Remake from the ground up, remaster, they polish it up. Mm-hmm. Not Lord of the Rings. Last of Us remastered on the PS4. I didn't buy it, but I did get it from, the little PS Plus.
The PS Plus? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I did double dip on Grand Theft Auto 5, but who didn't? Mm-hmm. I don't buy a lot of them unless it is an opportunity to port something from the past into the present. Because I like the concept of spending $30 or $40 versus spending $400 because this is trapped on an old platform.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but that's me. I buy remakes or remasters on an strictly need to play basis.
And it's interesting you say that too, because now some people, some developers, or whoever in charge of porting these, sometimes they're nice enough to do collections of remasters, right? Borderlands 1 and 2 got kind of a remaster per se, I would argue, in a collection itself. Ninja Gaiden, for better for worse, I heard it was not the best port, but it did get the treatment in their own way, but in a collection. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so some people take kind of nice enough to go out of the way. I mean, look at the new Team Ninja Cowabunga collection. I heard that was phenomenal of these games being remastered and polished up in HD and all that stuff. And that's a proper way to bring this back to light instead of selling these individually and being greedy in that way. But
Castlevania collection.
Yeah, Contra and collection. Konami did a good job with that. Konami did a really good job with their collections in what way.
I almost forgot they hate making money in games. But asterisk, Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 3 Remake are a little different because they changed the game entirely.
That is very true, sir.
They changed the game entirely from the ground up. Resident Evil 2 Remake, I still enjoy. Resident Evil 3 Remake, it's okay.
And you know what? I would even argue probably out of the people that did it, Capcom did really well with the remakes. Because you can't. One was good. One was a good remake.
Oh, the GameCube remake? Oh, yeah.
It was good.
It's still very playable.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. No, I played it a while back. I mean, that's the tank controls. He's not a tank control person. So, but still, though, like, Capcom did a good job of making it worth that remake instead of just, it's a remake, but we didn't do anything crazy. But no, I got to ask you this to get out of the way, my friend. Do you purchase a lot of them?
All right, so I think the idea of remakes and remasters, I'm like the core audience that they're looking for, the core consumer that they're looking for. And I say this because between the three of us, you two are definitely the gamers, and I'm very casual as a gamer. So a lot of the games that are remastered and remade are games that I may have missed when I played back in the day. So Last of Us Remake was one of the games that I have, obviously from the PlayStation Plus, but was one of the games that I ended up having to play or go through and play because I didn't play it whenever it originally came out. If they made a Heavy Rain remastered, I wouldn't play it. Inside joke for you. Sorry, guys.
Why would they ever do that?
But I mean, I think there's definitely an audience and consumer for it because yes, I didn't finish Mass Effect 3. And I didn't have an opportunity to go through and play Mass Effect because I ended up selling my Xbox. Or was it Xbox?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, Xbox 360. And to move on to the PlayStation 3 because of the scarcity, quote unquote scarcity, whatever, you liars. PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, you guys lying. You guys just, you're raising demand. That's all you want to do. Getting off my soapbox there. But, you know, I moved on from the 360 to the PlayStation 3, so I never ended up finishing Mass Effect 3, which Mass Effect 3 didn't port over to the PlayStation 3 until, or did it even port over to the PlayStation 3?
Yeah, it did.
But since the collection came out, like the full-on collection with the PlayStation 4, I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and like buy it because I have a bone to pick with 3. And now with everything being streaming, you know, you could easily get back to those games. But let's be honest with ourselves. When sales happen, man. Like, if sales happen for remasters and remakes, you're just like, you know what? I kind of want to see what the upgrade's going to be like. Or hope for an upgrade.
If they do it right. Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. Because I think, to your point, that answers the number 2. Why do we see so many of them lately? It's because it's for people like you, Nom. It's for the people that missed that boat the first time. And here's a chance for you to give it a try, or here's the game that everybody's been talking about, so you can say, "Oh, it's overhyped or overrated or whatever." You're feel this is the big deal.
Heavy Rain is overrated.
Really, Chrono Trigger? This is the game everybody's been talking about. Chrono Trigger's not that good, you know. And so, and I think that's the reason why. And one of the king publishers that do this and they abuse it. Don't get me wrong. I am a fan of Nintendo. Let's get this right. I'm out of probably anybody in this room, I'm a Nintendo fan. Okay. But I'll point out the flaws. Let's keep it 100 here. They have flaws. And one of the things they do is they will tug at your nostalgia with a lot of these remakes, especially with a certain title known as the Zelda franchise. That one gets tortured the most out of people because every game has been, it seems like every game is getting remastered on the Switch from Zelda, and for a higher price. Now, there's a rumor that the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess might be bundled again. And I'm like, hey, cool, for the first time you thought of people. But to the point before that, Link Awakening, Skyward Sword, even the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on the Wii U have been remastered and charged individually. You know?
Yeah. And they cleaned up the sailing, and that's pretty much, you know.
Yeah. So Nintendo knows how to do that because they still have, and people can argue if they want to, they still have the most iconic gaming characters in any industry, in all video games to me. Regardless if you disagree or not, they still do. And they know that, so they know where to hit people because they know they're going to sell. So people know how to take advantage of these remasters that that go that way. So I think the main reason, in my opinion, is why we see these so lately is because people miss that boat, and there's a way for them to get some extra money out of it without maybe not doing too much. Now, I'm not gonna call it Nintendo that doesn't do bad remasters or remakes. Some of the remasters are actually pretty damn good, but some of them I do say they fall in the crack. I'm not gonna say they're not all perfect, but most Zelda games I never felt like I was really disappointed. And the Link the Link Awakening. I mean, yeah, it was a different look of it, but it was different. It was kind of the Resident Evil 2 Zelda style. You know what I mean? Not graphically, but the whole, like, we changed the whole graphic and did something a little bit different from that. And so,
still beat for beat Link's Awakening. Like, if you play Link's Awakening, you already have the answers for the...
Yes, absolutely. But that's not for us. That's for people like Nom and for people that do that. Yes, it's for us to go back and play a game we haven't played for a long time because it hasn't been out since the Game Boy, but it's also mainly for people that like, check out this new Zelda game that we got, and that will push you to play other Zelda games. Now, Jerron, to you, though, do you think there's another reason why we see so many remakes, or you're kind of on the same boat with me, or what are you thinking?
We see a lot of remakes and remasters. Okay, we see remakes because it's an easy way to kind of pad your numbers in case you're working on something else. Or, for example, going back to Capcom, Resident Evil 2 remake and Resident Evil 3 remake use the RE engine, the new RE engine. What else uses the RE engine? Resident Evil 7. So why not get your mileage out of that engine that you spent money to develop? And also, RE8, RE engine. RE4 remake coming next year.
That engine's phenomenal, by the way. That engine is phenomenal.
Yeah, that they are making things happen with that engine. It makes me wonder what else they could do with that RE engine.
Right.
But that part is you have to justify the investment. And my theory, you're justifying the investment in that engine, in the development of that engine. So remasters can serve a multiple purpose. One, you or your developers or whomever feel that this is a great game and you'd like to see it polished and brought forward, taking advantage of new technology. Or two, once again, it's my theory, you want to make sure you hold on to certain licenses or IPs. Now, that's not always the case, but if you remaster something, then you tighten your hold on it and you bring it forward. I go in Shadow of Colossus, PS2, PS3, and then Shadow of Colossus, PS4, so that's what I think is one of the main reasons. The other one is, of course, as Nam mentioned, money. Yeah. It's easy money. You don't have to worry about writing it. You don't have to worry about...
I think we know the bottom line is money, of course.
Yeah. But because you don't have to worry about writing additional things unless you're remaking it, you don't have to worry about extra marketing because most people already know what the hell it is. You just market it a little bit, and most you have to put in work is remastering, polishing up, the graphics. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a lot less involved than making it from the ground up.
Yeah,
and put it out there, and you can put whatever price tag you want on it.
Okay.
If it's beloved, full price. If it's from way long ago, and knock about $10, $20 off. You're still making profit.
Okay. All right.
Also, just to add on to that real quick.
Go ahead.
I think the whole idea of the remakes, right? Because it really, a lot of the gamers that were like younger then are now in predominant spots where they can actually create the games because they're now in that career. And you want to look at games that did get remaked because back then, obviously, we know we were limited by technology, just like movies. We were limited by the technology that was there. But can you imagine the possibilities of what we can do now because of that, right? So there's a lot of the beloved games that we had when we were younger, like Final Fantasy VII, the Final Fantasy series, Resident Evil. Because, as much as we like Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, like, the controls there weren't exactly the best, right?
Right.
Yeah. They say it's on purpose to add the heightened terror and panic, but... Yeah.
Okay.
So, I would like to do an analytics thing on it because I'm kind of curious if the super heavy hitters from back then are the ones that are actually being remade.
Okay.
versus just remastered. And if the ones that are just like, it's okay. It did well in sales, but didn't do like phenomenal in sales. Or the ones that are getting remade or not remade, remastered, just as like we'll just polish it up and we'll bring it out and we'll get some sales off of it. It won't be so bad. But the games that were like near and dear to our hearts back in the day, are the ones that are going to get it remade and relooked at. That we're just like, okay, this is going to be cool.
All right.
So I'll be kind of curious on that, but that's just kind of my 2 cents on that.
Okay. My next question will be, what games should be or deserve a remake or a remaster treatment? So is there any games that come to mind? Don't you say Heavy Rain, shut up. But is any game, is there any games that come to mind, you guys, that you think deserves a remake or a remastered that has not? No Mercy? Okay. Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
That would be interesting if they get the licenses and they just do a re-release of the N64
right.
WCW and WWF games.
I know one that Jerome want. I'm still on the stand like it's never gonna happen until it shuts up. But let's go ahead and get J Empire out the way. You want J Empire to be remake or remastered, right? I don't think it's never gonna happen. So
I mean, never say. I mean,
never say never. I understand.
Yeah,
but for now, I don't see it coming.
Never say never. Yeah, I'm just saying we've learned multiple times this year to never say never. It's unlikely, but it's not impossible. Jade Empire is up there. I mean, we're already getting KOTOR.
Yeah, but that's
even though it's being passed around like a doobie right now.
But that was never a BioWare license, though. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Jade Empire's a BioWare.
Owns the rights to Jade Empire. Period. And it would be interesting to see them actually get the resources to expect, because there's a lot they left on the development floor with that game, including some of the patches to fix bugs. But I would still like to see a not a remaster, but a remake of Jade Empire. That would be phenomenal. That would be a phenomenal looking game, especially because it did pay a lot of reverence to Asian, primarily Chinese, but Asian culture and a lot of its mythology. And I think that would be a hell of a good play to throw that out there.
Okay.
You know? And then from there, you can decide if you actually want to do a Jade Empire 2.
Yeah, especially the gameplay, because that gameplay, now just thinking about it, I don't think it's aged very well. It definitely needs a remake so it can be polished. Remastering it, I don't think that gameplay will age well.
But think of it this way. Imagine if some of the gameplay was like Sifu, but with RPG elements.
In the remake, right? We're looking at J Empire's gameplay is like Shenmue's gameplay, right? It did not age well. All right?
But it's much more playable than Shenmue. But yes, it did not age.
Shenmue's playable. It just stuff gets in your way before you get to the play. It's playable.
I get it. But I'm just saying.
You got to get a job first before the game gets fun.
Briefly, I don't know how much gameplay from Sifu you two gentlemen have seen, but imagine that with RPG elements, Jade Empire. That it was like.
Well,
BioWare knows. 100% agree.
BioWare knows who to talk to then. So.
What can I say? I'm an ideas man.
So,
and they can talk to the developers for Sifu.
So
that's the main one.
So there's a collection that came out from Nintendo, and it was one of those collections where they did the FOMO on you. I know, because I did it. And in this series, these 3 games that it got announced together, you know what I'm talking about, is it was almost a lazy port because they know people were going to get gangbuster sales from it. I'm one of the people that contribute that, so I have nowhere to talk about this. But the Mario 3D All-Star Collection, the Super Mario 64 deserves a remake to me. I think that game has been old enough. I think playing it now in the remaster does not help it from the gameplay style for it. I think a remake of that game would be awesome just to see what they can do with the graphics now and going into those picture frames and seeing the new artwork for that. I really think it deserves better than with now. It's bad when you see mods out there doing what they envision of what a remaster, along with Ocarina of Time they do, per se. But I honestly prefer Mario 64 because I just want to see what that would have looked like in this beautiful castle with all the picture frames and all that stuff. And that 3D All-Star was a lazy way to like, here's a remaster. We're not going to do too much to it. I mean, if you play Super Mario Odyssey, there's a world, you go back to that castle. How about that? But Mario 64. So
I am ashamed I have not finished Mario Odyssey. I really do need to hop back on that and finish it.
it's so good.
Yeah,
It's so good. It's a 10 for me.
Honestly, Nintendo needs to remake almost all of their N64 games. Period.
Except Donkey Kong 64. That game can go to hell.
If they remade it and made it more like Banjo-Kazooie, it might be playable.
Nah, don't even touch it. It's it's the same people that did Banjo-Kazooie. I don't want that.
I mean,
I'll take Diddy Kong Racing before I get that game.
Star Wars Rogue Squadron Remaster Collection.
With Shadow Empire? You want to put Shadow Empire in there?
I mean, sure. Throw them all in there. You know, the GameCube and N64 games, and put it in a collection. That would sell.
I'll tell you what. If GoldenEye does well, then I'll consider what you're thinking about, because GoldenEye's been in development since, I don't know, forever for this remaster thing.
Is this the second remake or remaster?
I don't know anymore, man.
Yeah,
that game. That's a game that needs to stay in the age where it is. Like, bringing it back, it's just not going to work. It's not going to work for me.
They could do it like Turok, bring it back, but update the controls.
You want a Turok come back? Is that what you're saying? You want
Turok did come back. Yeah, Turok did come back.
But not a remake, but another entry, correct?
No, it was a remaster. I believe it was a remaster.
Oh, okay.
Turok Dinosaur Hunter.
Oh, okay.
I still need to play it, but yeah, the controls were updated on it, and apparently it's really, really fun. But yeah, I think if N64, Nintendo were to do remakes or remasters, just reach into your N64 library and take a lot of those jank-ass graphics and controls and improve them. And boom, you probably don't even have to release any new games on the Switch anymore. Just take those. You know, it'll be like Wii U to Switch all over again.
I actually, this is the biased one. This is a personal one. I would have liked to see what Sega, which when you say Sega do something, it's never going to work out the way you want. You're like, you want this, they give you this. I just said Radio Remake would be pretty interesting, just to see what they can do with the shit Jay say look like.
Oh,
I know you were. I know you. Of course, it's me. It's me. I would love to see that. I would say Skies of Arcadia, but I don't trust him with my Skies of Arcadia. My favorite RPG, I just don't trust him. Just do a remaster. But you know, some of the old Dreamcast games look really good still that I would love to see get remastered in general and that library. Like, if they could do like the old Phantasy Star games and do a remake of that in some shape or form, that'd be great. But Sega's not going to do that. You know, their new Phantasy Stars making bank. Shout out to John. I think he's playing the Genesis one that just now that came to PlayStation. And so
yeah. I was about to say, remake of that. You're gonna get DC's whiskers a fluttering.
Right.
Phantasy Star 2, 3, and 4 remake. Woof.
Right. No. There's not really any games from the last couple of years. I was trying to think in my head what 360s and PS3 games that I like to see, but we haven't got that. Maybe Infamous. Maybe Infamous gets a remaster. Not so much a remake, but a remaster.
Yeah, sure.
Running 60. I think running 60 frames per second would be really cool for Infamous in that way. And so, but
I will say there was a game like a long time ago in the 360 that I was super hyped about, but it was it was a dud. For sure.
Lollipop Chainsaw? It's Lollipop Chainsaw, isn't it? I'm just kidding.
What was it?
I said Lollipop Chainsaw. It's Lollipop Chainsaw. That's getting a remake, by the way. I'm excited.
No.
You're gone.
No. Alpha Protocol.
Oh, that's right. That game.
That would be interesting. I've never played it, but
that game deserves a lot of things. That game did not get a chance. Yeah.
I bought it for on the 360 for $5 one day, and I played it. And the controls was really the hard part, the shooting and stuff. It's worse than Uncharted.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Alpha Protocol would have been the one that I would love to have them remake or remaster.
Okay.
Actually, more remake, because I think now it would just be a lot of fun to just do the whole espionage spy deal while also being kind of action.
It's kind of a drought for those games, isn't there, Nom? There's been a bit of a drought. No Splinter Cell. We haven't seen a Splinter Cell to fill in that void. Siphon Filter, nothing has filled that thing. We know that a certain studio, I forgot, is doing a new 007 game. I don't know what they're doing. The same people that did Hitman are doing a 007 game. So
yeah, I wouldn't mind Siphon Filter coming back and being done properly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think those games. I think that would be a lot of fun. Honestly, I don't know about remakes. I know we were talking football, so. Mutant League football, but NFL Blitz style. That's all I want.
Okay.
Yeah. And it sucks because the license, a lot of these games that we would love to come back, the licenses are so twisted up upon multiple companies and people. I would love to see Road Rash come back. EA's not going to give that to us. That would be great.
They owned that. I forgot they owned that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they tried. There was like
Because the people that did Burnout should be doing that game.
right?
you reminded me, man. Twisted Metal. Like, I want Twisted Metal back.
Yeah, Sony owns that. They could easily bring that back.
They're probably going to see how the TV show does.
Yeah, if the TV show does well, then yeah, we'll see probably a half-assed Twisted Metal game.
Well,
Yeah,
Samoa Joe, man. It's got to do well.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Okay.
I'm just saying. You were talking about sports games, earlier. EA had so many sports games that were arcadish. The SSX games, the NFL,
The EA Bigs. You're going with the EA Bigs. Yeah.
The EA Big. I've talked about it in previous shows, but it sells itself. EA Big. You could bring Road Rash into EA Big.
Oh, yeah.
And I defy anybody to say they would not buy an updated Road Rash. With today's technology and things you could do, jump in, jump out.
That and Def Jam Vendetta. And so,
Fight for New York. Yeah, we're never getting that shit back.
Yeah. So let's move on. What games come to mind that should be remade and not remastered? So basically, what games that came out that are remastered that you said that should have been a remake, not a remaster, and vice versa? The first one comes to me is Chrono Cross. Chrono Cross deserved better than that to me. Hands down. Hands down. Like, that remaster was horrible. All they did was like the fast forward thing and everything, but that game would look beautiful as a remake just because of the art form. So that's one of my picks.
Yeah. What about you, Noah?
Like, I'm sitting there trying to think of one off the top of my head. I mean, I think they should have just not did the remaster for Last of Us and just went straight to the remake. But
during that time with the PS4, I can see that.
Yeah, like skip a whole generation and just worried about it from there. But
it's interesting you say that too, because the fact that like they didn't think about this until part 2, and they're like, well, now we want the first one to feel like that one. So,
yeah, you could call it part 1.
That's
so. You're saying what should have been a remaster instead?
Yeah. What's a game that is a remaster that you look at and like, this should have been a remake, not a remaster, and vice versa? Like, this should not have been a remake, this should have been a remaster.
Well, what shouldn't have been a remaster and should have just been a straight remake to me would be like the Uncharted, like the first couple of Uncharteds. Like, I really do think that they, with everything that they could have done with that, would have made it much more fun to me
as a remake.
As an actual remake instead of remastering.
At least the first one, right?
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, first one drags a lot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because I think with the technological advances that they have, especially with like the
fourth
even
one,
just their games, like whether Uncharted 4 and so on, I think a whole remake should have just said, we're just gonna remake this entire thing, and instead of remastered it. At that point, I just think it's just a cash grab, but that it is what it is. Everything's a cash grab.
Mm-hmm. Anything for you, Mr. Duran?
Oh goodness. Let's see. Damn, that's one of the biggest ones. Remaster that should have been a remake and vice versa. I would say Shadow of Colossus on the PS4.
I agree and disagree at the same time, but I get it. I get it. Okay.
It is a beautiful game. It is a wonderful game. It is a game I am glad I played and I could play it again. Mm-hmm. But they should not have just remastered it again from the PS3. Granted, they did a lot more work than they did porting it to the 3. They should have just rebuilt it from the ground up.
Okay.
And actually give the team a chance and market it. I saw what they could have done with The Last Guardian. I saw the potential. Mm-hmm. They should have remade. They should have just remade Shadow of Colossus. Really, I should have done Eco and Shadow of Colossus, but whatever.
Just do the whole collection. Just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Just do the whole collection. Yeah.
Do the whole damn collection. call it the you really should have been playing this collection. And as far as a remake that should have been a remaster.
Oh, it doesn't matter. You could pick either one. I didn't say as for both.
Then I made my.
Because I was going to say Silent Hill. Silent Hill deserves a remake than a remaster. That remaster collection on the PS3 was horrendous.
Yeah, they lost the damn source code and they just half-ass pulled stuff out of nowhere. They just need to remake Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3 and call it good.
Hands down. Yeah.
I mean, they'll have to if they want a proper working, build. So, whatever. We'll see what Konami announces.
Yeah.